Hey, everybody. Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended, the podcast. I'm Kim. This is Tyler. And it is hump day. Wow, chicka wow, wow. Hope everybody has had a fantastic week so far. And hopefully, we're here to help you get over the hump of the week.
And about to ruin your goddamn week, because okay, so what do we have on the docket? So I'm if anyone hasn't seen it, it's quite astounding. Actually, quite a few things we have is pretty astounding. So a video came out with Trudeau talking to a Quebec news station, saying that people that are unvaccinated are racists and misogynists. So that's very very progressive.
What?
Very tolerant.
Okay, I'll hold my thoughts for the article. Carry on.
Okay, so Quebec is looking at imposing a tax on people who are unvaccinated. So it'd basically be a surcharge on top of. We're going to talk about Jake Tapper and from CNN. You know, the same Jake Tapper who his producer wanted to do some things to children.
Tapper?
And yeah, and we're gonna continue. And we're gonna continue on. So this is, like I said, from when this week started, there's a lot of information that I stumbled across. Looking into these right-wing extremism kits that our schools are looking at instituting and are directly funding, or in Canadian tax dollars are directly funding Antifa, communist, identity politics, all the stuff that doesn't create unity but actively promotes division. So yeah, I guess before we get started, please, of course, like, subscribe, share the video. We do have some changes that are going to be coming up in maybe the next couple weeks or so, trying to make things look better. So audio listeners, fuck yourself. I'm just joking.
Well, just nothing will change for the audio listeners.
Yeah, so we're just trying to find ways to make it look cleaner, in terms of organization and yeah. So yeah, like I said, of course, check us out. We're always on. If anything, we're always on Rumble. We're on Spotify, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, barring our internet going poo poo. But there should be an episode somewhere within Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I always try to have those up. Yeah. I think that's really it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we're on Facebook, on Twitter. I lay into people on Twitter a lot more than on Facebook, just because, well, I'd say it's a better system in order to communicate to someone, as opposed to you need to be friends with them and then, well, they have to be part of whatever. Like, you kind of have to stumble across them.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Twitter, it's like I can direct message. Well, I don't even use DMs, but you can at them on Twitter. So, Discord group, of course. If you want to come talk shit or share those sweet, sexy feet pictures.
Ew, please don't. If you're going to do that, just send it just to Tyler, because ew, feet. Just gross.
I'll take your creepy feet pictures, you bunch of weirdos.
Are you Quentin Tarantino now?
Yeah.
Yeah, show me them sweet toes. Wiggle that shit. Oh, yeah, wiggle it.
Okay. So, all right. So let's get into this, because we have a lot to go through. We have about 11 pages of documents that I have to go through. So, don't
let that scare anybody away. We're not going to be doing this for like 10 hours. Like, don't you worry.
Yeah, no, we'll try to get through as much as we can. But this is just a lot. It's a lot of information, and making sure that, like I said, for the watchers, it's easier for them to see. We've gotten some comments that how Kim has stuff set up, so blame her. At her, okay? If you at We're Offended, You're Offended, at Kim, okay?
Nice.
Don't at me.
Thanks.
I do all the research, or I do a lot of the research, especially the stuff that, like, that we're talking. Shut up, dog.
Oh my God.
Especially this. I don't remember what the fuck I was saying, but anyways. Okay, so sorry, yeah, our dogs decided to go crazy, but yeah, so at Kim, if stuff doesn't look good, at me if the information is bad. So, but to be honest, at this point I really don't care. I don't care. So I'm taking the Ricky Gervais method of I just don't care. I'm just gonna say, well, like if you have something that proves me wrong, please by all means share it. Otherwise, sit back, listen to my sultry voice.
Oh, well, don't do that.
Okay, so from the first article we have from the Canadian Citizen Free Press, and okay, so it just starts. So Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told a Quebec television station, people who did not get vaccinated against COVID-19 are often racist and misogynistic extremists. His comments prompted People's Party of Canada leader Maxime Bernier to call Trudeau a fascist sociopath. And he says, so we are going to end this pandemic by proceeding with the vaccination. We all know people who are deciding whether or not they are willing to get vaccinated, and we will do our very best to try to convince them. However, there is still a part of the population that is fiercely against it. They don't believe in science and progress and are very often misogynistic and racist. It's a very small group of people, but that doesn't shy away from the fact that they take up some space. I will say so this leads us as a leader and as a country to make a choice. Do we tolerate these people? Over 80% of the population of Quebec has done their duty by getting the shot. They are obviously not the issue of the situation. I'm going to push back with the Canadian Citizen because I was looking directly for the quotes. But and you'll see when we watch, just fire this video up. So it's just it's a 42 second clip. So yeah, when you're ready, hit go.
All right.
Oui, on va s'en sortir de cette pandémie par la vaccination. Puis on en connaît tous des gens qui sont en train d'hésiter un petit peu. On va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre. Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est une petite, un
okay,
petit
so you see what she said there? So I might be a little bit, a couple seconds behind Kim.
Yeah. But, I paused it so people can still keep hearing.
Okay. So she jumps in when he is saying, but there are also people who are fiercely against vaccination. And she responds, they are extremists.
Yeah.
She jumps in and says that. Okay, so let's continue. Let it play out.
Leader en tant que pays, est-ce qu'on tolère ces gens-là ou est-ce qu'on dit, voyons, la plupart des gens, presque 80% des Québécois ont fait ce qu'il fallait faire, se sont fait vacciner, on veut revenir aux choses qu'on aime faire, c'est pas ces gens-là qui vont nous bloquer. Maintenant.
Okay, so it kind of sucks that it cut out there unless, there just wasn't anything else worthwhile, but
so it's just in those statements. So in those statements, I haven't been able to see the entire interview, but those were the things that were making the rounds all over the place. Was okay, they don't believe in science. They're misogynistic. They're often racists. Who is he talking about?
Right?
And for him to say, as leaders, do we tolerate them? Or why do we tolerate them? Why should we tolerate them?
Well, see, and that's what I was waiting to see in the video. I don't see that part.
He did say that. He said that close to the...
Okay.
He did say that close to the end.
See, I mean,
okay.
This makes absolutely no sense at all. How? Because if you decide not to get vaccinated, now you're misogynistic and racist. Do people?
And you don't believe in science?
Oh my God. I'm sorry, but do people has the English language been lost? Do people forget what actual meanings of words mean? How is somebody who is misogynistic or racist clearly an anti-vaxxer in their quotation?
Well, it's not even that. Just like for me, I don't care if someone's anti-vax. I don't. I don't care if someone's pro-vax, like vax at no matter at what at any cost. But okay, so he says, and we have to make a choice in terms of leaders, in terms of the country. Do we tolerate these people?
Okay, hold on. Before we get to that part, so for anybody who might not be aware, I'm pretty sure everybody out there is, but just in case you're not, let's just take a look at the definition of misogynistic. Strongly prejudiced against women. Okay, so definitely if someone decides not to get vaccinated, they're strongly prejudiced against women. And the definition of racist, prejudiced against, antagonistic towards a person or people on a basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. So, how does that make sense?
Where are you looking that up?
I literally just, honestly, I just Googled racist definition and misogynistic definition.
Okay, so
it's literally all that I did.
The issue with racism as a word. Oh, okay, so meaning of racism. So you would have to look at so from Merriam-Webster, so how they say it is, so a belief that a race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and the racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. So for someone to say, oh, if you're not vaccinated, well, you must be a racist. That sounds very leftist. Oh, you don't think this, therefore you're that.
Okay.
Oh, you don't agree with me, therefore you're that. That's the type of wording that he's using. Oh, well, they're anti-vax. That must means they're a misogynist. That's absolutely, like, not only do I hate getting jabbed, I love punching women. Like, nothing goes better than no vaccines and assaulting women.
Well, yeah.
Or hating other skin colors. Like that's just a fantastic trifecta. Oh, you're anti-science? You don't believe in science? Oh, you love beating women? You must like beating women since you're anti-vax.
Well, right? Oh, you like potato chips? Oh, you must be an alcoholic. What? Like, it's literally completely separate things that have one doesn't have anything to do with the other. Not even in the slightest.
Correlation does not equal causation. Oh, you like Marilyn Manson? Oh, you must want to shoot up schools.
Obviously.
Oh, you like playing Doom? Oh, you must love shooting up schools because that's what they like too. Yeah, well, they also liked water and Pop-Tarts. Well, fuck me. I guess I'm the next Columbine shooter.
Damn it. What? I like Pop-Tarts.
Like, what the fuck?
Right? Like, literally, that is the most, I think, asinine thing I've ever heard somebody say. Like, I've heard some dumb shirt through this whole in like COVID crap. But literally saying because somebody doesn't want to proceed with the vaccination that they're often misogynistic and racist. Do you not hear the words coming out of your mouth? Like, do you not understand how stupid you sound?
Okay, but so I'm not necessarily focused on just what the words he was saying. It's what he was more like what he was. I don't want to say like dog whistling or that's not the right word to use. But he's saying, well, what do we have to tolerate these people?
Yeah.
What do you mean these people? Last I checked, those people still pay into healthcare, regardless if they use them or not. Obviously, they're not going to use it as much. Like, there are people that go to Reiki healers and think that silver iodine is going to cure their, I don't know, fucking glaucoma. Maybe it does. I don't know. They think, I don't know, stuffing a pine cone up your ass is going to cure AIDS.
Sweet.
Okay. Like, yeah, you can talk to them and say, hey, I don't know if that's possibly the best idea. You don't say, oh, because they're these people. That sounds very bigoted. Is the correct word to use towards Justin Trudeau is that's a bigoted statement. So he's a bigot.
And
what he's saying shows that he is actually a bigot. The literal definition of a bigot.
Also,
so it's the main fact of making that public. Oh, this is coming from our prime minister. Dude, last I checked, this guy was a fucking drama teacher. That's all everything you see, the drama, the play, you see how he communicates. He acts a certain way. You can see that in how he articulates his face, how he communicates. He plays to the audience. Well, look at Quebec is 80% vaccinated. Well, now they're up to 90% vaccinated. So what? We're going to blame 10% for the 90%?
See, okay.
What?
Okay. I'm just gonna point out a little thing here. Okay. So the comment that's made here. Okay. So do we tolerate these people? Over 80% of the people in the population of Quebec have done their duty. Wow, I like that. Done their duty. Neat. Okay. So do we tolerate these people?
The question should be yes. Unequivocally yes.
Wait. So we have an even lower percentage of people in Canada who are transgender. And yet we've changed lots of laws and things to suit them. Also, I'm not even necessarily even just saying about the transgender, but all your gender.
The alphabet soup community.
Yeah. And all the gender pronouns. How much of the population are those people? Guess what? It's less than 20%. Yeah. And yet we do tolerate those people. And we've actually changed laws due to those people. And yet you're really going to come at us and say, do we tolerate 20% of the people who don't want to get vaccinated? Fuck yeah, you will. And you should. Because you are literally picking and choosing which minority group you want to bend down to or bend over to. You pick one group that's even less, you bend over. Then you have another group that's whatever, a little bit more. And no, we cannot. We do not tolerate these people. What?
See, in terms of like what our country is supposed to represent, we're supposed to represent many different cultures, many different ideas. Now, under the same idea of we have a charter of rights that we are all supposed to understand and agree to. Like when you were born here, hey, this is kind of what we all agree to. When you move here, these are the rules of the land. I wouldn't go to Australia and say, well, in Canada, we do this. Okay, well, you know what a cop would say? St. Canada, mate.
Right. The plane's right there. Get on the plane and get out.
Like, so, but I would say, so for anyone, replace unvaccinated, put in any other word, any other group. Well, you know, the gay community, they don't believe in science. they are often misogynistic and racist.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah,
we can
Christians.
keep on going here. Muslims.
I'm saying. So when you well, it is okay. Sorry. I'll leave that. Okay. No, I know, but it's probably a good thing I don't say anything.
Sorry, he heard me say leave it to the dog. And he's like, oh, okay. That was just really good timing, I feel.
But put in any other marginalized community. He touts over and over racialized and marginalized communities. Okay, well, you're not talking to the majority of people saying, hey, but what you're saying isn't true. Like I've brought up over and over again. Words have meanings. Like if there isn't a word to describe it, okay, well then let's look at making a new word. The internet wasn't a thing in the 30s, in the 20s when it came around.
Keep going.
Hey,
yeah.
That's what they called it. It's like the international net. So they had to come up with a word. There's reason why there are countries like, in Quebec, there are words they say in English because they do not have a French word for it. So, to call what these are, and again, I'm vaccinated. So I should say I got the shot. I got a flu shot.
You did your duty. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a good little slave.
Right.
But I'm saying call it what it is. It's a shot. It's not an immunization. It's not a vaccination. So that's why when you see, okay, so let's just we'll get into this post because we have so much shit and I don't want to dwell too much. So
I just want to say one thing before we move on from this. Canada, you need to wake up. Like, even if you are vaccinated and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, these people who are unvaccinated should get vaccinated, please look just at these words. Do we tolerate these people? Over 80% of the population has done their duty. Do we tolerate these people? This is not okay.
That's very loaded wording. Very loaded.
All right.
Okay, so this was a tweet from Trudeau. And you know what? I'll say I feel like a bit of an idiot because I didn't call out the specific word, but I responded to what he was saying because I what he's saying, but it's weird. So the science is clear, he tweets. Vaccines work. So let me be clear, too. Get vaccinated. We've got enough doses for every Canadian to do so. And if your kids haven't been vaccinated yet, sign them up too. And you'll notice his specific words. He didn't say anything about COVID-19. He didn't. But so I ended up responding. I said, yes, it clearly is. Sorry. Yes, it is clear. But you unfortunately don't listen to it. Your rhetoric is nothing but divisive and absolutely unbecoming of a democratic country. Would China be more suited to your decrees? So tolerant, aren't you? No.
Boom. Insert mic drop.
No, but if he could be saying, well, we're talking about, there's still flu shots. There's still flu shots. So he has a way to weasel his way out of it. But the thing is, what he's talking about. He's been going on these talking sprees, but for me, I even had to write it here. I love taking my medical advice from a drama teacher because that's what he's really good at. I don't understand. I'm never going to take medical advice from a politician. You should never take medical advice for someone that you listen to on the internet. You should be talking to your doctor. And if your doctor can't give you the information, then you have a bad doctor. Go find a different one. Mm-hmm. How hard is that? Guillain-Barré syndrome is a real fucking thing. getting like there are things in vaccines that people can and do have reactions to. So why listening to a politician saying, well, go and get it, just don't do it. They're 100% safe. There's never been anything ever wrong ever with vaccines ever. But what you're saying is dishonest. You're not being truthful. That's the thing. That's why I stumble over words, but especially in a prepared speech, words are very important. At least like in an open dialogue. Well, even if you said, well, I'm talking about the, more to the group that, that has decided to, block hospitals and prevent people from going into a hospital. Okay, but still you have to tolerate them because we're in a free society. Like, I'm trying to justify it and I can't. I'm trying to see, well, I was looking more in these types of whatevers. I can't find a way to justify it. Maybe if he said, hey, these people are actually going against our Charter of Rights. Okay. Maybe we have a little bit of a common understanding here. So it's really unusual for no, I shouldn't say it's unusual. It's not unusual for him. He's been very divisive and very interesting with what he's decided to say and who he's decided to target, instead of saying, hey, what are we doing wrong? What are we as quote unquote leaders, even though they're not leaders, they're representatives. This is a democratic society. This isn't an oligarchy. This isn't a technocracy. So, no, you are a representative. You are supposed to bend to the whims of your electors, of your constituency. Not you get to decide. You decide how everyone feels. Because it sounds like a parent talking to a child. You're too dumb to know what's too good for you, so I need to do it for you because you're too dumb.
This isn't even a parent talking to a child. This is like somebody that doesn't know the child talking to the child. Like, because even as a parent, you wouldn't be this harsh or this rude. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't care what side you're on. If you believe in the vaccine, if you don't believe in the vaccine, hearing this speech, this should raise some serious red flags. I mean, literally, he's connecting dots to things that aren't even around, calling people who decide not to believe in science, they're often misogynistic and racist.
Am I a misogynist?
No.
Am I a racist? Do I hate other races? Do I see the Caucasian race that apparently I am as superior to other races? Be careful with what you say. I'll beat the shit out of you.
I was gonna say it depends. Are you talking about the face you show everybody else, or the face that's in your secret room, you Nazi? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, great.
I'm totally kidding. Absolutely
Hail
not.
Hitler.
Absolutely not. And neither am I. Like, we may say some offensive things at times, but no.
Well, and like and I'm not saying I'm skeptical of vaccines, but I'm definitely I don't want to be the first person in line, but you also don't want to be the last person in line. Let version 1.0, or well, in this case, it's beta version. Okay, maybe version 1.0. All right, let's see how it goes. Oh, version 2. Okay, you know what? If version 1 was kind of it was a little leaky, kind of sucked. It wasn't the best. Okay, version 2. Okay. But not version 10. Version 10, like, what are you doing? Like, they're only making it for you because there's, the market's dried up. You're getting the discount bin bullshit. Some like Chinese knockoff at this rate.
Right. I mean, I think anybody who when the vaccine came out, like anybody who even for a second stopped and, should I do this? Is this the right decision? Is this
Talk to your
safe?
doctor.
Anybody
your
who
doctor.
just stops for a minute and thinks, you know what? It's showing that you're actually thinking for yourself. You're not just, yes, master. Okay, where do I go? Roll up sleeve. Yes, master. Like, you gotta think for yourselves, people. Like, you really have to look at the things that are in front of you. These are things that are blatantly in front of you. And you're choosing to ignore the hard facts and just see what you want to see.
It's not a politician's job to tell you what to do.
No.
If you have questions, and like I'm not talking like, again, I don't want to dwell on this too long, but it's interesting because, okay, so let's just get into this next one. So this was from Global News, and this has made its rounds everywhere. With Quebec to impose a tax on people who are unvaccinated. So I ended up posting. I sent a couple tweets. Sent a couple tweets out because it blew my mind when I seen this. When I seen this, I was absolutely astounded. So in response to this article, I said to Francois Legault, the dictator of Quebec, and you know what? I feel bad for the people of Quebec, but at some point when people are saying, "Hey, no, this needs to stop. Hey, guys, stop! Like, stop! Hey, can we stop?" And they go, "No, let's trudge ahead. Trudge ahead. Vaccine save lives." Like,
brains, give me more brains.
At some point you kind of got to go. You kind of made this bed, right? Like, you got to lay in it. But so all right, so I'll read the article and then I'll fillet myself.
Fillet?
Fillet. It means to suck on, to give myself a fellatio. I'm sucking my own dick.
Oh, wow. That's, well, I mean,
okay, so
it is hump day.
That's true. All right, so Quebec is announcing it will impose a health tax on Quebecers who refuse to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Quebec Premier Francois Legault made the announcement in Montreal on Tuesday afternoon. As the number of pandemic-related hospitalizations continued to climb. Legault said he felt look at this device. This is what I mean, divisive language, othering, separating people. Legault said he felt the ire of the vaccinated towards the unvaccinated, who he blamed for clogging up the province's hospitals. And as he says, only 10% of the population is unvaccinated, but they make up 50% of patients in intensive care beds, according to the premier. I'll say this. I think those numbers are absolutely wrong, and I have some proof to back that up. I don't make accusations without at least having some information to back it up. So I ended up saying to him, "Very discriminating of you, following other dictatorships too, I see." And a hashtag Quebec, hashtag progressive, hashtag Nazism, hashtag government. Only need to round up those plague rats next. And in addition to direct to Francois Legault, I said, blame 10% of the population to your failure to manage anything. You should resign in disgrace. So,
insert another mic drop.
Like, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we brought this up before, this little graphic. So again, the 10 stages of genocide. So the classification, dividing people, symbolism. Think of vaccine passports. Think of all the stickers and everything else. And I'm double vax, I'm triple vax. How many more do you want? Oh, now discriminating people. How about that? Dehumanization. Are you hearing it yet? Organizations. So the government's creating special groups to enforce the policies. Polarization. Yeah? We just gave you 2 examples. Preparation. Official action to remove/relocate people begins. Hello? Like, literally telling people, vaccine people, you're not allowed to leave your home, and you could blame those people. Persecution. Holy shit. Beginning of murders, theft of property, trial, massacres. Looks like number 9, extermination, and then number 10, denial. This is crazy. Like, all I'm saying is, look at what's happening. Look at what's being said. This is me shouting into the void, being like, just stop. Just fucking stop.
Yep.
It's not that complicated, but typical government, if it doesn't work, means we didn't do it long enough. If suppressing and violating people's rights worked, well, good, then we accomplished our goal. But at what cost? It's unfucking real. Unfucking real. For him to say, and this is one thing we've been saying for a while. From COVID, with COVID. Those are 2 very big things. Gunshot victim shot himself in the fucking head. Guess what? He ended up contracting COVID and he died. They said he died from COVID. I'm pretty sure half of his fucking head being gone is a bit more of an immediate cause of death.
Right.
I might be a little crazy. Dude in a motorcycle accident was dying. He had COVID. He had COVID in his system. What'd they say? Oh, that was a COVID death. Like, those are 2 prominent ones because they're so fucking absurd. They're so absurd. So, unfortunately, in Canada, we don't hear those numbers. We don't see those numbers of from COVID or with COVID. Being sent to the hospital from COVID is absolutely very different than being asymptomatic, or I guess asymptomatic, or you've contracted it and you have, well, it just, yeah, I guess in remission. So I guess. And they say, oh, well, you have COVID in you. It's like, oh, fuck me, I had no idea. Oh, I was here because I whacked my head against a table. Well, it turns out you have COVID. Oh, so now they're listed as in the hospital with COVID. And it's really interesting. I'm seeing this more and more and more. And I'm trying to find out what the fuck this definition is, because it's made up. COVID related. What's COVID related?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I was driving and I had COVID and we got into a car crash. So you tested negative, but I had COVID. So you died from a COVID related incident.
It's like, that's literally newspeak. Hello, Orwell, 1984, newspeak, where they make up fucking words. COVID related. Now I just seen a thing that there's COVID related racism. Holy fuck, can we get more buzzwords? Can we get transgender community is facing COVID related vaccine hesitancy, hospitalizations due to racism?
Well, yeah. So every Chinese person.
Hold on. Trump insurrection, January 6th. Can we stuff more fucking buzzwords into there? Like, please, hey, put in the comments. How many more buzzwords do you need to put in that article so you get every single hit on the fucking algorithm? Right-wing extremist, LGBTQ, AAIP, LMNOP, soup fucking community is scared because of January 6th insurrection instigated by Trump due to COVID-19 related racism. Like, what the fuck? It's okay. So, all right, we got we're yeah. Okay, so let's get into this next one. So this is where, like, hey, I'll applaud CNN. You know, if CNN is saying it, it's got to be real. Like if
Right.
everyone else is no, hold on. But I don't mean that in like a sarcastic way. Like people have been saying this for a very, very long time, long before you and me started talking, and on YouTube, on Rumble, Spotify. Actually, we started on Anchor, and then we, hey, let's do a YouTube show. If we're doing YouTube, we might as well put it on Rumble, because it's not like we can rely on YouTube for to actually be straight. Okay. Before I forget this, so let's say with YouTube pulling down Dr. Peter Malone and Dr. Robert. I did it backwards. Dr. Robert Malone and Peter McCullough, and saying, hey, you need to do this. You should do this. That's not allowed to speak because that is that's misinformation. That's medical misinformation. You think Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, any other kind of left-wing places, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, you think they could be charged for medical malpractice for giving medical advice?
Well, I guess it really depends on what side of the narrative they're on. If they're pushing for people to get vaccinated, well, no, because that fits the agenda. Whereas if you're saying, well, maybe you should talk to your doctor, or, there's some other things that you could potentially look at, then you will. It just depends on what side of the agenda you're on, honey.
All right. So from Jake, this is from Newsweek. Excuse me. And it says Jake Tapper rails against misleading CDC COVID hospitalization numbers. So Tapper was reacting to comments by CDC Director Rochelle Walensky made on Fox News on Sunday that up to 40% of patients have been admitted to hospitals with another medical emergency, but have been later detected as having COVID. When asked by Fox News anchor Brett Baer if there was a breakdown of how many of the 836,000 deaths in the U.S. were from COVID or with COVID, Walensky gave a non-committal answer in which she said, our death registry takes a few weeks to collect. That seems really weird when that's like your whole fucking job, but okay.
Well, not only that, they sure seem to pump out those numbers on a daily basis, so I don't get it. Did they go back a couple weeks later and say, actually, correction, sorry, 1,500 of those weren't actual? Like, no, sorry, they don't go back. No backsies.
But up to 40%. Up to 40%. Okay, but all right, so I'll just continue with this. Okay, so Tapper said if up to 40% of patients in hospital don't necessarily have problematic COVID, are asymptomatic, and are there if, oh, well, there you go. They bumped their head and they're being included as being in the hospital with COVID, that number seems kind of misleading.
100%. Not 40%, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. So there needs to be transparency about that in terms of for or with, said Sanjay Gupta. Which is really weird because I'm siding with these guys. They're saying, yeah, we need those distinctions because from and with are two very different things.
100%. 100%.
But check this.
Especially when you're looking at, especially when you're looking at those numbers that's showing how many COVID deaths that they've had since COVID started on that stupid database, like that would be a huge difference. So that number could potentially drop by, let's say, anywhere from 30 to 40% of actual people dying from COVID.
Oh, well, people, this was a long time ago. I can't remember who initially said it, but they were saying the COVID numbers could be inflated up as much as 25% because they were just saying that's COVID death, that's a COVID death, that's COVID death. They haven't even, the body hasn't even fucking gotten cold yet. And they're saying, oh, that's a COVID death. Because they were getting funding. They were getting an extra $3,000 for patient care if they were registered as a COVID death.
Yeah.
So this was a total mismanagement of, well, it was greed. It was obfuscation of data, of information that would actually save lives. Just like Dr. Fauci saying that you can get AIDS from a cereal box in the 90s when they knew that that wasn't true. But he was too busy sucking guys off at fucking bathhouses to say otherwise. This is why I get so, I don't know, testy. I don't know, fucking, this is why I get so balls. Is
really
because
grinds your gears.
Is because you are actually, because you want to save your political career, because you don't want to make the wrong decision. Hey, guess what, fuckface? People make wrong decisions. It's not I make a wrong decision, so I'm going to make a wronger decision to back up that wrong decision. And if that wronger decision doesn't work, I'm going to make the wrongest decision.
Oh, God. That hurt my brain.
Okay, but so Walensky had previously faced criticism. Sorry. So the Washington Post noted that Walensky's latest comments, which have been leapt on by figures on the far right to argue against COVID mitigation measures. Funny because they're not saying, oh, because these numbers are inflated, therefore mask and all and vaccine passports and all this stuff, therefore bunk. No, they're saying with and from are two very distinct things. And if people are being hospitalized, okay, well, you're making it seem a lot worse than it is.
100%. 100%. But so many people have been screaming for so long, but
you know what? You should next time. I was thinking about this. So when you go to a restaurant, they have displayed all over the place. Oh, if we require proof of vaccination for you to enter our establishment.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them. I would like to see every person in the restaurant to make sure that they're actually that they have proof of vaccination.
Right. No, I want to walk around.
I want chef, cook, managers. Before I enter, I would like to make sure that everyone here is vaccinated.
Could you imagine every single person walking in demanding, I want to make sure that all your staff and everybody is vaccinated. I want to see your proof. Show me your app. I want to see your little QR code.
Yeah. Let me see your let me see your doctor's information. Let me see your medical information.
Yeah.
Did you get your vaccine shot last year? Why not? Why didn't you get last year? Did you get the H1N1 shot? Why not?
What about meningitis? Did you get that one? Hepatitis? Come on.
Okay, but look at this wording. So COVID mitigation measures come as she sought media consult advice on how to present a consistent message on the pandemic. So Walensky had previously faced criticism for telling ABC News it was really encouraging that 75% of vaccinated people who were dying from coronavirus had 4 or more comorbidities. You can get it the rest of it if you want to. Of course, anything that we reference, anything that we talk about, the links will always be, or our references will always be put in the description. So, read the stuff for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I'm just some fucking dumbass, and my wife is smarter than me. Just yelling into microphones.
True story.
So
yeah. I ain't no Yoda though.
Okay. So let's all right, let's continue on with Canada funding Antifa. All right, so yesterday we got into the how I stumbled onto this. We talked a little bit about how I kind of looked into this. It's all started with just searching up Manitoba legislative news. That's all I was looking for. And I started coming across CBC looking at funding right-wing extremism kits, and started looking more and more into the Kaswar Ahmed couldn't really find all that much that he's just a professor. But at some point you gotta kind of trim the fat, so to speak.
So sorry, before you get into that, there was something I had wanted to add a bit ago, but I couldn't seem to get in there. Yeah, you told me to shut up. Anyway,
sorry, it's just so much.
you were on a roll.
All this.
I know. So okay, back to the article that we were talking about Quebec to impose tax on adults unvaccinated. Okay. So in one part of the article, it showed on Tuesday, the province reported an increase of 188 patients with COVID-19, and a total of 2,742 of those, 255 are in intensive care. I just want to say, in regards to that, you see these numbers and you think, holy shit, these people need to get vaccinated. What you're not seeing is how many of those people are actually already vaccinated. We've seen some pretty significant numbers, which we have talked about in previous podcasts, where there was one case, there was like 1,700 new COVID-19 patients, where 264 of them were unvaccinated. Only 264. Yeah. So the majority of people who are getting COVID are already vaccinated. So this is the thing, is that they decide to put these numbers out, but they're not actually telling you the full truth in things. So you really need to just start taking a look at these things and not seeing these big numbers and thinking, oh my God, those are all unvaccinated people, because they're not. 20% of them are probably unvaccinated. 80% of them are vaccinated. But that's all that I had to say regarding that.
That's less. That's 0.5%. If you're going off of 1,800 and 200, say 250 of them are unvaccinated. So it's either fully or partially vaccinated are making up the majority of it. I think maybe it's 1%. Let's just say it's 5%. I'll be generous and let's say it's 10%, even though it's not. But okay, so all right, so so continuing on with I started to look into, well, who is this Canadian Anti-Hate Network? Who is this organization? So we talked about it a little bit on Monday, and so we'll continue with this. And it's interesting, the people that they call out, the organizations that they call out, and the networks that they support. And so okay, so this was an article, and it was labeled like from the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, and it's 5 ways to fight hate in 2022. One I wanted to focus on, that in Canada, you're supposed to have freedom of assembly, freedom, well, to an extent, freedom of speech, but I don't know, maybe not. But so, all right, so what they say in the article is, so when a far-right figure announces a speaking date or lecture, contact the venue and make sure they know all about the organizers and participants. Toronto students and anti-fascist activists recently organized to stop a People's Party of Canada and Ontario First Party event at X University. Well, they changed it from Ryerson because Ryerson did some stuff bad in the past, so therefore destroy history. While a handful of the far-right Canada First and Plaid Army supporters still showed up on the day, the organizers backed out with pressure from the groups on the ground and a little media attention. Their event was a total bust. So I started to look into, well, who is this Canada First? What is this organization? So I just looked it up. Looks like the leader of it is, if we're going to go by race, we're going to go by their rules. Looks like they're Aboriginal. But I looked at, more specifically, what are they looking at doing? So they say, we'll put Canadians first. We believe a country can't help others when their own country is a mess. That's hypocrisy. Okay, yeah. Clean up your yard before you clean up someone else's. Put first Yeah, this is CanadaFirst.live. So this is like their mission statement. This is them as a political group. What they would like to have happen in Canada. But First Nations peoples first. Our First Nation peoples are the backbone and strength of this country. It's time we rid them of poverty and third world living conditions. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think reservations were a terrible fucking idea.
100%.
It was a way to keep them isolated. I'm not okay with that. Modernize their military. Planes that are 40 years old or older, ships that are 30 years old or older. This is what our dedicated military people have to put up with while other nations have first-class equipment. Canadian First Party will modernize our forces and their roles in... Oh, I guess I chopped it off. All right, so next one. Yeah. All right, so make life more affordable through massive job programs, which include the most comprehensive infrastructure programs in the history of our nation. We're going to put people back to work. Eliminating homelessness within 1 year in Canada for good. Well, I don't know how you're going to, like a lot of this stuff, but this is what they're looking to do. I'm only going to go off what are they saying that they're going to do. Like this is their doctrine. This is what they're attempting to do.
I mean, getting rid of homelessness, that would be fantastic. Let's just say.
Yeah. Okay. So look at it. Introducing a fair and equitable tax system that promotes excellence and not mediocrity. Okay, I'm a little wishy-washy on that one. I understand. I would, maybe something that's more like keeping dollars in Canada, not letting corporations, multinational corporations, send their money off to like Ireland or some other country, a tax haven, where they have satellite companies in like Belarus. So, well, technically, we didn't make any money because our office is in Belarus. Well, they didn't make any money. They lost money, so we had to send money there. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Oh, look at this. Eliminate the greatest cause of the massive debt load most Canadians hold. Unfair interest rates on loans and credit. These people sound like right-wing extremists, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they sound like left-wing populist. Like, make home mortgages available to any Canadian who is full-time employed, regardless of your credit history. So, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the leftist organizations all talk about, dealing with homeless people. Homeless people are people too, and they deserve a place to live. Well, here you go. They're looking at dealing with the homeless crisis. If you I just came from Portland. For anyone that's if you've been to Portland, maybe you haven't seen it. I drive through Portland. I was just on the east side of Portland by what the fuck is that town called? Clackamas? What is that highway? I think it's Highway 205. Don't quote me on that number. I can't remember. I only know it's Highway 5 is the one you take all the way from California. It takes you all the way up, through Oregon, Washington, into British Columbia. So don't quote me on the exact that highway, but it's the one that you end up taking that turned off onto I-84 towards the Dells. If you know Portland, or if you know Portland in the area, you know what I'm talking about. It was homeless. It was just tents and garbage, tents and garbage. This one guy had a fucking tree house. This fucking homeless dude had a fucking tree house, Kim.
A tree house? That's cool.
Like, what? Maybe, you know what? I guess I'm doing it wrong. I just fucking get drugs, get money from the government, and I have a fucking treehouse.
Dude, I'm sorry, but let's just take a moment here. Could you imagine, okay, you're walking down a street and you see a bunch of tents and boxes and stuff like that, and, homeless people living in them, obviously, and garbage everywhere. You'd be like, ugh, gross. But if you were to, let's say, walk into a park or something, and you see a whole bunch of tree houses and people just cool living in tree houses, that'd be freaking dope. I'd be game for that. It's like, you know what? Yeah, you're living off the land, baby. And dude, they built themselves a house. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Okay, so we have just a little bit more. So with regards to the Canadian First, yeah, they sound like absolute right-wing extremism. Absolute worst. These sound like sounds like, ultra hardcore Christians, sounds like, tiki torches and bed sheet wearers. That's what Canada First sounds like, don't they? But I'm not done. There's more to this right-wing extremist, vile, disgusting organizations.
There's more.
Guarantee student loans to all post-secondary students who study in Canada, regardless of circumstances. So they're looking at taxpayer-funded schooling. That's Antifa that's exactly what they want. That's what they want. They want debt forgiveness. They want free education, free post-secondary education for everyone. That's a fucking left-wing fucking talking point. Create new low-cost and effective and efficient transportation systems so that our transportation networks finally come up to the 21st century standards. I don't know what that means, but okay. We're 20 years into the 21st century and still using 20th century transportation systems. I don't understand what they mean. Like, we're still using roads?
I don't really know. Are they talking about
Like
their
that?
buses? Like, I don't get it.
Maybe. Yeah, that one I'm a little. I don't understand.
No, it doesn't really make
Provide
much
low
sense.
cost-
I mean, when I was younger, I used to take the bus all the time, and you'd get some of those buses that you could tell, like, dude, this is from like the 90s. They had like the bench seats, and they were all blue inside, like all the leather. And then you get the other ones that had like the fancy carpet and the bucket seats, which were the newer ones. But like, honestly, who gives a shit? It's a comfy place to sit. I don't care if the bus is from the 90s or not. Like, is it running? Is it warm? Is it taking me from A to B? Okay.
Okay, and so provide low-cost electricity to all parts of Canada. Modernize the justice system in Canada to provide fair trials for everyone with common sense sentences. Putting our oil and gas industry first by eliminating foreign oil and gas in Canada. Our industry will have a monopoly in our country. Okay. Like, that doesn't sound crazy. That doesn't sound crazy at all. Like, some of them are a little, like, pie in the sky kind of ideas, but like, as long as you shoot for it, right? Like, if you shoot for the moon, you end up in the nothingness, I suppose. But, like, how is this a right-wing extremist organization? Free education? What, getting rid of, I would assume probably the Reservation Act, or the Indian Reservation Act, or whatever the fuck they call it.
Helping the homeless?
Helping the homeless? Making housing affordable? Guaranteeing house for everyone?
I don't know.
Low-cost electricity?
Sounds horrible.
Overhaul to the Canadian justice system that they say is rooted in racism? Well, it sounds like they're trying to put a stop to it. Putting our oil and gas industry first. You know what? There was an article in California because a lot of people, they're incentivized to buy electric vehicles. They're doing away with gas. The California thinks gas is like the worst thing in the fucking world. They had to put out notices to people to stop charging their electric vehicles because their grids couldn't handle it.
Okay.
Look, bravo, California. Your progressive ideas, your absolute cutting edge progressivism fucks over your own citizens. Fantastic. Oh, it's a wonderful idea. Don't build up the infrastructure to allow that industry to flourish. Just, in the summer, you know what, people, you have to turn your air conditioners off. You can't use your air conditioners because our system's overwhelmed. Well, that's a you problem. That's your problem. You decided not to do anything.
Yeah.
But okay. So this was just one organization. I didn't look into the Plaid Army. It sounds like a Proud Boys kind of or group, like a frat boy kind of thing. You know, that's what that sounded like to me. So, but this Canada First, okay. Like I would potentially vote for this if they actually had like how they actually plan to do this. But this is just right on their front page. How are they a right-wing organization?
Well, even still, like if this is what you consider right wing, why are you fighting against this?
But no, that's what they're fighting against. This is considered right-wing extremism. This is the same organization, Canadian Anti-Hate Network. We fund them. We give them money. We give this professor, Dr. I don't know. Whatever that fucking university professor's name is. We give them money to fight right-wing extremism. Well, if this is right-wing extremism, holy fuck is that tame? Like, not looking at, hey, the Canadian justice system is corrupt and is overwhelmingly putting minorities in prisons, that they're making, again, non-criminal drug offenses. Well, put them in prison. Oh, someone has too many speeding tickets? Oh, put them in prison. Yeah, okay, yeah, because taking someone's ability to pay the tickets is a real good fucking idea. But, that's some of our system in a nutshell. It's stupid on top of stupid.
Okay, but so it doesn't make sense to me. Like if these are considered far right and this Anti-Hate Canada is fighting against far right, how is what was said a bad thing? How are these bad things?
That's the thing. This is leftist ideology. So I was looking into what organizations does the Canadian Anti-Hate Network support. This is right on their website. And so I looked into one, and it said the International Anti-Fascist Defense Fund. Okay, I think they had 8 organizations that they support. One was weird because it was a food exchange program, but yet the photo that they used was during a George Floyd protest. You mean like the 100-day siege in the United States that leaked over into Canada, into the United Kingdom, where people started rioting. And yeah, there were peaceful protests, and I will still applaud. The one that stood out in my mind when guys were saying, when some kids started bashing and breaking up parts of a concrete curb, and the guys were yelling at them, they grabbed him and said, "No, you're not doing this. You're not doing this," and they shoved him over to the cops. Absolutely, I applaud. Yeah, I applaud that 100%. Yes, that's the way you fucking affect change.
Yes.
Not smashing windows at an Arby's or some shit, or burning down a Wendy's, because now those people are going, what did I do? I'm just trying to, I have kids I need to take care of. I'm trying to pay my way through college. I'm trying to make some extra cash. And now I've lost my job because of these people. These people burned down my only income. And then Wendy's just says, hey, you know what? Fuck it. The franchisee, he gets paid out. Okay, well, cool. You made a guy a lot of fucking money. Like, yeah, good thinking. Fighting the system by whatever. Okay, so anyways, so the International Anti-Fascist Defense Fund. So since June of 2015, the International Anti-Fascist Defense Fund provides emergency support to anti-fascists anywhere in the world, whenever they find themselves in a difficult situation as a result of their standing against hate. The hypocrisy in that statement and what they actually stand for. We're gonna get into who is the leader of the International Anti-Fascist Defense Fund that they talk about. So their efforts have contributed $150,000 to over 650 anti-fascists and anti-racists Oh, you remember that discussion from Monday? Yeah, how to be anti-racist. You know, the discrimination laws, the racist laws, because, you know, if they bring up one side and knock down another, it's not racist, it's anti-racist. Okay, so, and anti-racist in 22 countries facing hardships like medical bills. Oh, poor baby. Lack of a safe place to stay. Oh, you mean like you mean like when you firebomb places? Oh, and assisting their families. Okay, so who's the organizer of the International Anti-Fascist Defense Fund? That is Alissa Azra. That's the name that apparently runs this. And so this was from the Post-Millennial. And so the Post-Millennial says, so Alissa Azra, she was charged with felony rioting, 2 misdemeanor charges of disorderly conduct in the second degree, and unlawful use of guns, or of a stun gun, tear gas, or mace in the second degree. She was arraigned last Thursday, so she was found not guilty for doing these things. But this is where people talk about the the George Soros backed DAs and letting these people off and getting bail and all this stuff. And so they kept saying that, well, Antifa, it's just an idea. It's not a real thing. It's just an idea. There's no such thing as Antifa. And look at this. Justice for all. Look at that gay pride flag. Oh, so beautiful. And then fucking scales of justice, I assume. Or maybe that's just, I don't know, their bra. That's probably like them holding like 2 grocery bags of all like their tofu and soy infused water. That's probably what that is. That's what that's showing there. That's not scales, yeah. You see that on the show map?
Yeah, I do. Like bras. I could totally see it now. I can't even I look at it and I can't even see the scales anymore. I just see a really saggy bra.
No, it's a soy warrior carrying bags full of almond milk.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. All right, so their response, this is why Antifa exists. To protect people from domestic terrorists because the cops turn a blind eye. And sorry for the lines on it. I was trying to crop it because they were saying in regards to her, this Alissa Azra being assaulted because she was making a proclamation on the International Anti-Fascist Defense Fund that she was assaulted by Proud Boys. But she left out the fact that she ran up to these guys and sprayed mace in their faces. So the very carefully edited video shows them attacking her. They weren't attacking her, but, whatever. At least that's what the video looked like. You could just hear her screaming, saying, "Get the fuck off me, get off me." Okay, well, hey, maybe if they were assaulting her, don't. But also, for you, maybe don't pepper spray people in the face.
Right?
Hello?
What? How is
that is still... That's still a fucking assault charge?
Yeah, how is this a thing? It's one thing if she's being assaulted and she pepper sprays to defend herself. Okay. Now, I mean physically assaulted. Not just someone calling her names or some shit like that. But well, then, yeah, she has every right to defend herself. But if she had went up to the people, pepper sprayed them, and then got assaulted as a result of her criminal act, sorry, they were acting in self-defense. So...
Yeah. All right, so on June 18th, right-wing and conservative activists held what they called a voter registration drive in Clackamet Park in Oregon City. People wearing symbols of the Proud Boys were in attendance. Ahead of the event, Portland Antifa and far-left accounts on Twitter called for a counter direct action. Clashes broke out when the far-left militants moved to assault the right-wing side, who had men in riot gear and shields acting as volunteer security. So again, clashes broke out when the far-left militants moved to assault the right-wing side, who had men in riot gear and shields acting as volunteer security. So it seems like, and as far as I know, like the chief editor at the Post Millennial, she's like a fucking lefty. Like she's like not Antifa lefty because that's authoritarian, but she's like kind of like traditional libertarian kind of. But even she has like kind of leftist slant to like hearing her talk. She has that kind of leftist slant.
But see, it seems like most of the it seems like most of the leftists are the ones that are starting assaults or starting to do like violent acts. Like the right wing side, they're not doing anything. Like it says even right there, clashes broke out when the far left militants moved to assault the right wing side. So they went there to assault them. So what are you doing?
A lot of what they do, and I know this is going on a little long, but a lot of what they do is, so they'll start something. You know, they'll throw rocks at cops that are, you know, stationed somewhere, or organizers or groups. And then once they've done that, then they start recording. And they look at, well, what's the reaction? And then it looks favorable. Look at these Proud Boys, as you know, as her video went. Look at these Proud Boys that chased me down and beat me.
Well, it's honestly, it's the same bullshit stuff that PETA does. Like they will literally make videos of hurting animals and then post them everywhere to get people against animal cruelty. They're literally doing the horrible act to try to make people see it. It's like, what are you doing?
All right. Okay. So let's just get through this and then, all right. Okay. So Azra was captured on camera during the brawl, rushing in to pepper spray a woman in heels and a dress, standing in the park before getting knocked to the ground by a right-wing fighter in riot gear. From the Antifa side, a man shouted repeatedly to Azar, "Mace the female." So a girl that's standing in heels and a dress.
Oh, she's very threatening. I mean,
yeah. All right. So though the 30-year-old single mother sometimes wears fake press markings and posts videos and photos online, she has been observed participating in violent direct action on behalf of her Antifa comrades numerous times in the Portland area since the summer of 2020. Some of her riot propaganda is posted on her Patreon, where she doesn't disclose that she is a participant of the violent direct actions. She also runs an OnlyFans account where she strips for people, where she reportedly averages over $23,000 a month in subscription payments and describes herself as a slutty anarchist.
Does she actually strip? Because I was literally saying, when you said that, I was like, well, for $23,000 a month, she's got to be doing something. Oh my God.
Yeah, so
slutty anarchist. What the cuss?
Yeah. So not only is she, inciting a lot, but again, I'm not going to focus on just her. This is all to paint a bigger picture. This is only one brushstroke of a bigger picture of Canada funding is literally funding Antifa as described by the Canadian Anti-Hate Network by who they support. I've looked through, they have, I think it's 31 pages of articles. I went through about 20. Not one did I see anything about Antifa, right-wing extremism, the riots during like all the George Floyd protests and all this stuff. We have some stuff coming up when they start spouting stuff like, well, Trump said in Charlottesville that there are very fine people on both sides, where that old narrative that Trump said the white supremacists were good people, which he didn't. So that's something that we could bring up on, we'll talk about on another one, but again, this is to paint a bigger picture that your tax dollars are literally funding organizations that hate Canada, think Canada is racist, think Canada's, well, it's founded on racism, where it's all identity politics. You are not based by the content of your character. You are directly linked to your value based on the color of your skin and your supposed oppression. It's all about power, and the thing is, it's un-Canadian. It's undemocratic. It's a command economy. It is an authoritarian group that literally will eat its own. When people were talking about, anti-Asian hate, there was a short little stint where Asians were being defended, and then they were found. Then someone decided that, well, Asian people they're the whites. So African American men that were, well, I shouldn't just say African American men. African Americans, other minorities were assaulting Asian people, and this isn't a race thing; it's a statistic thing. That they were overwhelmingly assaulting Asian people. For why? Because you foment the idea of victims. The road has a crack in it and you trip and fall. Well, it's someone else's fault. It's not your fault you weren't looking at where you're going. It's someone else's fault. Oh, you didn't get that good job? Well, it's not your fault. It's someone else's fault. You need to blame them. You're the victim here. You should go up to that business and demand that I should have that job. Maybe you're not qualified for it.
It doesn't matter. Qualifications don't matter anymore, don't you know?
Well, your qualification is the color of your skin, which I think is extremely racist. It's literally the definition of racism and discrimination.
Yeah.
So again, this is just to paint that picture. Our tax dollars are literally going to fight having pride in your own country. And trust me, I don't have look at what I fucking argue about. I'm not for forced vaccinations, but these organizations, they're on the side of big corporations that pander to the LGBTQ community, have CRT training, that's critical race theory. That's the stuff that I was talking about last time about it's not racist, it's anti-racist. I was talking about that on Monday. So there's a lot of this type of stuff where you're told to be ashamed of your skin color, where they're teaching it in schools. They're teaching it directly to students. This is the way. They're not teaching kids how to think. They're teaching them what to think. And I think that is so fucking dangerous.
It's sad. Like this whole thing is just so sad. Like if people would actually take the time to do research on things like you're doing with this, like literally ask questions. Like I have always been an advocate for somebody asking questions. I have worked in jobs where literally I have been considered where I've been called insubordinate because I've been asking questions. It has nothing to do with not wanting to listen to what my manager is asking me to do or what I'm being told to do. It's all simply just because I had a question. Why?
Yeah.
Like, I need to, for me personally, I need to understand the process and what I'm doing to be able to do my job better and for me to understand. If somebody just comes up to me and says, don't touch the stove. Why? You're being insubordinate. Just don't touch the stove. You're going to get written up. Oh, okay. And you have no idea that the stove is hot. Like, that's what I mean. Like asking questions, looking into things. Someone says this and be like, oh, well, they support this group or they're anti this group. Well, what does this group do? And it brings you down another thing. Oh, well, that doesn't sound so bad. Well, then what is this group? Ask questions, people. No matter what it is in your life that you're doing, ask questions. Learn as much as you possibly can. I mean, I do that in my job all the time. I know things in areas that I don't even do for work because I ask questions. I want to know. Being curious and wanting to know things is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So stop following blindly and just ask. Why? Look into things. Don't be afraid.
Yeah. All right. So with that, let's get out of here. This has gone long enough. I appreciate it. If you made it to the end of the video, come on, like, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. If if you shared it, on your Facebook or on your Twitter, it would mean a lot to us. And I'm not trying to like, oh, please, I'll just suck your dick. No, I'm not sucking your dick.
Inappropriate hugs all around to anybody who shares this video and gives us a like button or a thumbs up, whatever.
Yeah, so,
thank you.
All right. So yeah, with that, all right, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. Thank you everybody for listening. Again, hit all those buttons. Don't forget to check us out. YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're everywhere. So come hang out with us. Oh, Discord. I keep forgetting to mention that one. Hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your week. Hopefully we helped you get over a little bit of the hump anyway. And stay tuned for Friday. It's going to be our episode 69. It's my favorite number. I don't know about it all. Y'all. Anyway, we'll catch you on Friday. Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.